G'day and welcome to Fix My Fleet. Today I'm joined by Sia and our guest is Hans. How you doing, Hans?
Hey, pretty good. How you doing, guys?
We're good,
Good.
thanks. So, Hans, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're looking for with your ships, and I don't know, what all are you with? Just tell us a bit about yourself and Star Citizen in general.
Yeah, sure. I've been following Star Citizen pretty closely for since about 2013 is when I backed. I'm currently a member of Test Squadron. Uh, I figured, hey, they're a pretty active group, and I like the idea of safety in numbers, and so I'm really not super interested in handling combat for myself. Um, Mainly interested in the exploration and economic side of the game. So, um, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
So what got you into Test Squadron? Was it the people? Like, was it like Montoya's videos, or just you just met them, or how did that all happen? I'm just curious.
It was,
How
de-
does one get lured to Test Squadron?
it was definitely Montoya's videos. I think
Okay.
the dude's hilarious, and
You just
so
stared
I
into his sexy
ended
eyes
up
and fell in love. Is that how that worked?
yeah, that's exactly what happened. I was lured in by his YouTube videos, and I
Yep.
started chatting with him a bit, and I was like, yeah,
Okay, cool. Sweet, sweet. Is he a baritone? Sweet, sweet baritone. That's a line an old friend of mine used to say. Um, yeah, so I'm going to very quickly just double check that I got that. Cool. I'm going to flick over to my browser here. So you can see we've got him set up in the Google Sheets as usual. And this again will be provided for you guys in the link that I'll put in the description, so you can have a look at this yourself. Real quick breakdown. These top three here he's got at the top are digital goods or CCUs, I guess you'd call it. And these are his actual ships. As you can see here, he's got an UEE Explorer pack. So these first three are all in one pack. Oh, shish, I did not mean to do that. And then he's got a Banner Merchantman of the 315p. And I guess what I'll just say is what I kind of recommended, because I talked to Hans a couple of days ago, and I basically kind of talked to him and asked him what he pretty much just told you guys just then, like, what do you want to do on your own? What do you want to do with a fleet? And what do you want to do gameplay wise? And yeah, the ships I kind of recommended with what he's got here is I kind of recommended the Dragonfly end up going to an Apollo Medevac, so he gets his Apollo gameplay. The Banner Merchantman, I ended up recommending turn that into a Endeavour, so you can obviously see how the Apollo Medevac and the Endeavour stack. And he's obviously already got his Terrapin and his Carrack, because he wants his exploration gameplay. That gives him that in single and org-based play. So he's got something for single in both support and medical, and something for exploration and support and medical, and then both those roles again in single and org. And then obviously it's 315p because he doesn't technically need it. We kind of mentioned basically melting that and put it towards the credits towards the upgrades of something else. I guess what I'll ask Sia, do you kind of agree with what I recommended to him earlier in the week? And there's any changes or modifications or other possibilities that you could possibly recommend for Mr. Hans?
Um, I mean, you guys cover all the bases in terms of exploration and supporting exploration, and of course, medical gameplay for now. Um, I can't really see anything else I could recommend with the exception if you want to go further into a support role, you could invest in something along the Starfarer or the Gemini version. You could get the Crucible, the Flying Toolbox, or if you want, you could get the Vulcan because it's the only ship that can actually rearm people at the time being. So,
Yep.
if you wanted to, if not, then
Mm.
it's not really a big deal. It's not even out yet.
Well, one of the things I did mention, if he wanted to go down other lines of support, he could look into repair, so things like the Crucible as well. Um, One thing we were talking very briefly before the show was repair versus support healing. Which of those two is going to be required more and more frequently? Which is going to be rarer and which is going to make a bit more money. So that's another debate that we'll have to probably chuck into the think tank and talk about. But it is a very interesting question at the end of the day. Which one of those roles is going to kind of roll around superior? And I think over time, I don't think there'll be a huge difference between the two, but I think one will clearly be more in demand. Yeah. And if you look at it purely a combat standpoint, you've got all the planets, but both ground vehicles and ships are going to be repair, and people are going to be dying left, right, and center. But the thing I ask is, how often are people going to die? And with Death of a Spaceman, there's a big question mark there. So, yeah, it's an interesting thing. Getting back to Hans, though, the other thing Hans mentioned was like holding on to the 315p until the anniversary sale, so we can hold on to that. And that way he can turn the Dragonfly into something that he can fly in the meantime. He mentioned the Cutlass Black. I just clicked on this one, Hans. What about getting a Cutlass Red upgrade as well? And then you can possibly look at that as an alternative support ship as well and see if that floats your boat when it comes out. Was it 3.7? Don't correct me on that. I think it's soon, though. So you might be able to have a look at that for a little bit, Hans.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know if they're planning on doing any gameplay to come with that, or if it's just going to be a ship you can fly around that happens to have some props in it. But it would be interesting if we got any kind of preview of the medical gameplay to see where that.
I sadly think it's just I think that every time a ship comes out, but sadly I think at this point in time, until Squadron 42 gets out the door, we're not going to see a lot of gameplay. If you've played any of the Wing Commanders and Freelancers, that is what I'm expecting to see, and it's basically going to be a single player focused, combat focused wingman type style thing where you go out and you kill shit and you do slightly different, well, it's not slightly different, but different mixture of missions, different ships you got to kill, and then you slowly progress up in the quality of ship that you're in. And that's what I'm expected with a cinematic experience with the celebrities that we've seen. I'm not expecting a great deal difference in gameplay. Like, for example, I'm not expecting to have a mission where I go out in a Starfarer and I've got to refuel something. I'm not expecting that. If it's there, awesome, but I literally am not expecting it. Maybe in episode 2 and 3, because more gameplays would have come online, but I just don't expect that in this first version. And I think that's we're seeing a lot of the overflow from Squadron 42 making it into Star Citizen at the moment, and that's why I think we just haven't seen any gameplay overflow, because the only gameplay that's required is that combat stuff. So hopefully down the line.
If I can just caveat, another important thing that determines gameplay mechanics is the fact that server-side object container streaming. That is the things that are getting worked on for the persistent universe. That is one of their main focuses. And that's probably one of the main reasons why we haven't seen those yet, because that hasn't been fully made. So just to caveat on, you said you are correct. Squadron 42 is the main focus.
No, 100%.
As well.
That's 100%. Is there anything else that you want to add there? I think the only thing I can kind of add that I did mention to him is if he wants to explore more ships as he goes through around the anniversary sale timetable, is to basically maybe buy a heap of upgrades in a chain so he can experience a whole bunch of different ships. So, as he upgrades from the Dragonfly Yellow to the Apollo Medivac, he could buy a whole heap of chain CCUs and he can look at a whole different ships. If that's what he wants to do, if he wants to do is explore and look around, that's the possibility.
So, one thing that just did pop in my head, this is purely a recommendation, of course. You could get a Cutlass Black for now, and you can melt it later. The reason why is because once 3.6 comes out, you can start doing some mission running, because in 3.6.x we're going to have ship rentals, so you will have a chance to try out all these different other ships that are going to be available. He
can't melt it though, because that Dragonfly is a part of a pack, so he eventually has to turn it into the Apollo. So my idea is, instead of just going straight from, say, a Cutlass Black straight to the Apollo, you can do 5 to 10 incremental upgrades in a massive chain, and maybe once a month chain from
he can even use the 315p for that too.
He can go through everything.
It will make him money.
Yep,
the 315p will make him money too. He can use that, then buy a ship with in-game rental money, and then he can try that ship out, and then once he gets enough money.
Lets him check out at some of the, you can try out things
Exactly.
like the Prospector and a few other things, and maybe find a ship that he didn't realize he might like. So
exactly, without having to wait till November time. So that's why I look forward to the ship rental system.
He will have to wait to November to do that, but it means
to CCU, yes, but not to try out other ships.
Yeah, but what I mean is he won't have to. Yeah, like for example, he could upgrade to the 315p now, that yellow jacket, or to the Cutlass. Yeah, that's totally something he could do today. But I mean, to buy them in a daisy chain, you'll have to obviously do that around the anniversary sale.
Yes.
But that allows him to not just upgrade straight to the Apollo that's not readily available. He can slowly take his time and find something that he likes that he can then just sit on while he waits for that Apollo to come around.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
All right, Mr. Hans, do you like what we've kind of talked about today? Is there anything that you don't like that we've recommended, just for some feedback for us? Or are you totally happy with what we recommended?
It's definitely a line of ships that I hadn't really seriously considered on my own before. So I think it's been very helpful. My line of reasoning has largely been around, okay, I want to do this exploration thing. I might want to do medical. I like the support roles like we talked about.
Yep.
But, this idea of consolidating these smaller ships into the larger ships, which Chris has said, I remember a couple of interviews where he's talked about, hey, these larger ships are going to be worth a lot more in game than the smaller ships. I like where that goes, especially with the Endeavor.
Yep. This is just for my benefit in the comments. See here, guys, I want to point this out too. He's still actually got like a little backup there in the comments. Terrapin to Mercury upgrade in case something does happen to the Terrapin. He likes the Terrapin at the moment. If he doesn't down the track, he's got a backup there for his Mercury. So I don't want to see all those hateful comments that I keep seeing about my little Terrapin. I love my little Terrapin. But I like the Terrapin, but I do have concerns about it myself. But I think it's still a very good ship at the moment. I know a lot of people don't like it because they don't like the guns on it, but that's not the type of ship it is. It's an expert. And would you were saying that to yourself to us today, actually, that you're not a very big combat focused person anyway.
Yeah, I'd rather just duck out of there if things get too hot, or call in some friends if I.
And you'll be able to do that with Terrapin, won't you? Because it's nicely armored.
Yep.
All right. I think that's short and sweet. He's been Seer. The mystery voice has been Hans. I've been Execute. If you like this video, give us a like. If you don't, you know what to do. We'll be on Discord if you need help with your fleet, like we helped Hans out today. Jump on there like he did, or drop us a comment in this video or one of our other videos, and we'll reach out to you, or you can reach out to us on Discord. Leave a comment, let us know what you think about how we've helped Hans out, and is there any other recommendations, because I'm sure Hans will jump on this video, won't you, mate, and read some of the comments and see what other people suggest to you.
Absolutely.
Cool. I think that's everything, and we'll see you next time. Catch you later.
See you later.
Thanks, guys.